Dear Mr. Aaron, I'm so happy to see a Thor title with a female as the hero, a woman who found the hammer or was given the hammer and is worthy to be Thor. I have a confession. I have been depressed for years. Very depressed. Life-ending depressed. Comic books saved my life. I read them as a child, but grew out of them, and I ended up very alone and very depressed. But when the X-Men movie came out, it reminded me how much I loved comics. By the time the Iron Man movie came out, I was heavily relying on comics for encouragement, for motivation. I looked to the few female characters available, but who I looked up to most was Thor. Thor was my hero. He was noble and he was strong. He was smarter than people gave him credit for. He was full of joy and duty. He was a champion, a leader, an example that even when we are low, we are redeemable. We can crash and burn, but still be found worthy. I could still be found worthy. I got a tattoo, Mjolnir, with "Born for This" on the banner, because I always felt I was born for something more. Thor was born to be king, but he had to prove himself a hero. I don't know what I was born to be, but I felt like I need to prove my worth before I can get there. I had to earn my hammer. Thor is both perfect and flawed at the same time. I often fell into daydreams where I found the hammer, that I picked it up, that I was worthy and was granted the power of Thor. I made a Thor cosplay with embroidery and armor. It was all leather and wool and linen. I wanted to be Thor, but I didn't want to crossplay, and I didn't want to be She-Thor, and I hated being called Lady Thor or Thor Girl, and I didn't want to do a sexy Thor or horror, as some people call those cosplays. I was in his armor except shaped to fit my body. I wanted to be Thor if Thor were a woman. I wanted to be as though I was a woman who picked up the hammer and was granted the power of storms. I am down on my luck at the moment. I lost my job because I wanted a raise I was promised and never received. I was an honorable worker, loyal to a fault, were words used to describe me. I did the best I could, and in the end I was fired for stirring the pot and asking for fair and equal pay. I feel dishonored, and I felt betrayed. I felt underappreciated, and I feel worthless. I feel like I have dropped my hammer. Then today, the day after my termination, while online filling out forms for unemployment with a heart weighed down with shame, I see a reveal from Marvel. There's going to be a new Thor. This Thor will be a woman who is worthy to lift the hammer. In October, I will see what I always dreamed of. I will see what, in my mind, is a comic book starring me. A woman who raised the hammer, and like Carol Danvers before her, took on the legacy of a man, took his title, his mantle, and punches a hole in the sky. Like Carol, she isn't Lady Marvel, she's Captain Marvel. This new Thor, she is her own woman, taking on the position of this realm's protector. She will be the Thor this world needs. I feel like this is the start of something amazing, something great. I love your writing. I love Thor, God of Thunder. I follow you on Twitter and gush to you about my excitement over your runs, but this is the first time I've written to you, crying. I'm crying, and it's because for the first time I feel like everything will be okay. I feel like I can dust myself off and pick up my hammer and face the world. Thank you so much. In October, I will be at New York Comic Con dressed as Thor, And I won't have to tell people that I'm not Lady Thor or Thor who just so happens to be a girl, but that I am Thor, goddess of thunder. Thank you so much